No? Not happy with that? Good.
No, that's great. It's fucking festive. I think when you go to sleep,
we got colors going on.
Yeah, you go to sleep with happy faces. You're gonna have good dreams. It's gonna be a good night.
Sleep, one of the most important things.
Yeah, I wore the hat. Earlier today.
Oh yeah.
The one you're wearing. No.
Did you get stopped? That's a Jason Paige hat.
Oh no, I did. Somebody said that's a Pokemon hat.
Yep.
And I said, and I took it off and I looked at it and I thought, how do you know that?
Yeah.
And he said, well, it looks like the Pokemon hat. And I thought
it's derivative,
but it doesn't
Pokemon.
say, yeah, but and I said, oh yeah, my friend, he sang the song and, and I got in a 3-minute conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. That's good. That's what's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
It works.
It does work. It does work. I got the house fixed up to some degree.
Nice. Me too. That's what we're doing. Home improvement makes you feel better. Yeah. You get to put your hands on things and build them and clean them and manipulate reality to your own advantage. Very important thing to do. Not have somebody else come over and do it all for you. Kind of ridiculous. I mean,
you have to do. No, you can't do everything, but you can. I think you just chip away and pick a task, and then just do it. And so they put this thing on the roof. It was like carrying on every day for a week with these folks.
Oh wow.
And there's a very fat, morbidly obese woman who lives upstairs. And the thing that wakes me up in the morning is her taking her morning walk.
I hope it's a walk.
It's horrible. It's creaking, like the whole ceiling is creaking. And anyway, I hope she sees this video and she knows I'm talking about her and she comes downstairs to say something because I'm going to throw a fucking pizza at her. Yeah. But so, yeah, man, I left work at 7:45 in a little bit of a panic today.
What kind of a panic? What do you mean? A panic about what?
To get back to the house by 8:00 curfew.
Oh, the curfew panic.
I was literally like, it's the first time, and I thought, oh yeah, I gotta get back in the house by 8:00. And then I thought, nah, what the fuck? Maybe I'll just not do it and then not pay attention, just walk around. There's other people walking around. And then I didn't stick to that. I mean, I just went home. I just got home like I got away with something type of thing. Walking down the street like you stole something.
Yeah.
Just like, holy shit, I got to get back into the house. That's a bad feeling.
Yeah, there was coverage of Denver and New York and Tampa and Houston and Los Angeles, Minneapolis. Major cities had helicopters flying around, watching the police like a giant video game corner people who were out too long and just start, rounding them up.
Oh yeah, in Los Angeles, they arrested, I think, 2,000 people.
Oh my God, I couldn't watch it. I was just like, this is just sick. It's just sick. I mean, I understand, but like, they don't want people looting, and then the civil disobedience is just so widespread that they have to do something about it. But I fear that they're going to exacerbate the situation by, devoting all their resources to over here. And then over there, there's going to be all kinds of horrible shit going on that they can't respond to. And that means plan B, citizens are going to have to take it into their own hands in order to protect their own businesses and their own houses, because the police are busy arresting people that are out past 7:00.
Yeah. And I was watching the chases. There were 2 chases back to back, both in a white vehicle in Santa Monica, or no, Pasadena.
Right.
And these cars were going, well, it was two separate things completely. And these cars were going 100 miles an hour on the top streets, not on a highway, just on the top streets with right through red lights and everything else. And the police slow down and let them get more distance because they started to think, holy shit, these people are getting after it. They'll go 120 miles an hour and it'll be impossible to not create a situation. So they just slowed down. And then it was kind of remarkable. The thing, they jumped out of the car, and then within 30 seconds, there was this response. But all I kept thinking while watching this chase is, who's robbing the bank the other side of town, man?
Right.
That's just it might be kind of brilliant if that was the case. I mean, they do that shit in the movies. Somebody's got to think of that.
Yeah. Well, that's, all the gold was removed from the World Trade Center, somehow mysteriously during that situation. And all of
that. Wait, I don't even know about that one. The gold. I thought that's kept on 72nd Street.
There's a whole storehouse of gold under the World Trade Center. There's 100 CEOs resign right before this whole Corona thing happens. There's people know things are going to happen. They plan around it. Problem, take advantage, reaction, solution. So it's not even just the one problem, reaction, solution. It's a problem and then distraction while something else is going on that's way worse. How many countries are being bombed right now that we don't know about, that we're not hearing about? How many people are starving that we're not hearing about because a few people got killed here? One guy kills another guy, and it's all over. The whole world, the whole country's in mayhem.
Yeah, we tend not to really focus on the quantity of balance.
It's definitely no balance.
But tell me about the gold under the World Trade Center. What do you know about that?
I just know that there was gold under the World Trade Center that was removed.
But how do you know that?
Just, all the 9/11 nonsense, all the crazy 9/11 information, all the insider trading, the airline stocks, all the people that knew beforehand. It's just one of the many things that happened. The office of the Pentagon was the office of accounting that held all the records for the missing trillions. The World Trade 7 that fell had all the financial institutions that were doing all the insider trading. Their records got destroyed. Like everybody's records get destroyed in these things, and other things happen when this goes on. So yeah, there's banks being robbed, I'm sure. We should get out there.
There should be a bank being robbed on the other side of town, and those cars should have just been distracting the people.
Right. Well, I did see quite a few people defending their own businesses, and some of them were mistaken for looters and rioters because they were armed. So the police immediately took their arms, even though those were the ones that were protecting themselves and their business from the looters that were pulling up.
Where was this?
And this was a live Fox News presentation where they were just going. The anchor was going, these people are protecting their building and those people are looters and the police are nowhere to be found. And then the police drive by and they wave the police down, and the police come over, and the frantic newscaster is saying, no, those are the people protecting. And the cop is going, just calm down. Give us the brass tacks. How many of them are there? Where were they? He said, he actually said brass tacks. I need to know the brass tack. 6 people.
It's like a fucking Humphrey Bogart movie.
Yeah. I need to know the brass tacks.
It's like, who is that? Yeah. So they didn't arrest the people guarding their stores. They just reacted to them first.
They cut before I saw. Yeah, they reacted to them first because those are the people that were still standing there. The looters who had been staved off by the business owners
Yeah.
had sort of dispersed when the cops got there. The business owners were still standing there with their guns, shotguns, and the cops immediately, took care of them, got the shotguns out of the business owners' hands, and put those people in cuffs.
Oh, they put the business owners in cuffs?
And the newscaster was saying, no, not them, not them, not them. But the cops couldn't get all the information quick enough, so they just have to apprehend everybody.
Yeah. It's a panicky situation. You know that feeling, the feeling you have before you're going to get into a fight, even if it's like a friendly fight, whatever it is, there's a certain adrenaline that goes through your body. Yeah. And I think that when these guys are in a situation, there's an entire mindset. It's like a mindset that is 80% emotional and 20% cerebral cortex.
Right. And they have to make it the opposite.
They should make it the opposite. But then, right.
But then, so that they can rush into war and shoot the enemy and not think, oh my God, what am I doing here? They just got to do what they're told and do what the protocols say, so that they don't get killed. Well, or so that, so that their army wins, so that their side wins. And this is exactly why this whole situation is happening, because the dehumanization of these public servants, the military and the police, have to evacuate themselves almost completely in order to perform these functions, just like doctors do. They have to evacuate and just follow procedure, and those procedures can be very harmful sometimes. Matter of fact, the doctor's procedure, as you know, I keep touting this 700,000 person a year figure, because doctors evacuate themselves to practice procedures. Of course, they're also practicing procedures that people are choosing, but it's the same thing with the cops. They have to evacuate themselves and practice procedure. And if this guy is moving, you're going to put your knee on his neck. And, if he says, I can't breathe, you're not going to say, oh, I'm sorry, and take your knee off of him. This guy might get up in a fit that is emotional and have super adrenaline and grab your gun and kill you. So these cops are dealing with that, and there it is. It escalates. There's no negotiating. I think the best idea is to dress all these guys up in those Armani suits. And then the cops will just walk up and be like, hey, are you the guy? Yeah, officer's me. Well, and they'll have a nice little negotiation. The respect will be there, and they won't be trained to evacuate themselves when they see somebody of color that's not dressed properly, that's not dressed in a certain way. Right. Or anybody that's not dressed in a certain way. I will be more afraid of a bunch of white dudes dressed like gangsters than I would be of a bunch of black dudes that are dressed like.
Did you hear that?
Wall Street guys. I did.
Gunshots.
That was gunshots?
Yeah, there was like eight shots. Really pretty clear. And now there's helicopters above. But check this out. So I was talking to Matt Messina, and he told me that Andrew Yang was promoting an idea where all the police have to learn jujitsu. And I thought, at first I said, oh, that sounds funny. But then I thought, the amount of discipline that martial arts encourages, requires, and demands is so significant that is really, really smart.
Yeah, I think
the type of person that can learn. The type of person that can learn and reach a certain level in something like that is a very disciplined and conscious person. Now, you can go into competition and cage fights and all kinds of things like that, and that's a very different thing. But at the same time, that is a very disciplined environment. You just do this over here, and it's really a skill in self-defense more than offense.
Right.
And with that kind of mentality, where you probably have enough opportunities to use it, as opposed to a regular person who's really learning something and then never really using it. They have enough opportunities to use it that they don't have to find more opportunities to use it, as compared to certain types of things,
Yeah.
in that line of work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I just thought that would really be interesting. But then you see all these guys, they're running down the street, they weigh 180 pounds and they're 5'3", and they're just hobbling
Well,
around. They couldn't
yeah.
learn
Well,
martial arts, or maybe that would just
well,
get these people into tremendous shape.
it would increase the standard, except that they're not a defensive organization. They're an offensive organization. They are enforcers. They're not defenders.
But they should be defenders.
Well, no, they're yes. The presence of the police should be they
should be defending people.
But yeah, but they don't defend people. They enforce laws that are in defense of people. So
Right.
It's force.
Yeah.
And it's not a yielding force, it's an offensive force. But there is technology that they can use that can be offensive and less lethal. And that's all they need to really do. Like the 5G technology that's everywhere right now.
Oh, wait.
Just beam at people.
Dude, before I forget, remember I told you I was making these hats? So they're going to be ready on Friday. They're
already
baseball hats. Oh, dude, I moved, man. I don't just sit around and think of shit. I get it done. So Friday, I'm going to have them. Absolutely fantastic.
With a JP logo? You got to have custom logos.
Yeah, no, you got to have custom logos. I want them to be black hats, just, or charcoal gray. And the ones I started with are just the, baseball hats, like the ABL, like stuff like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so that they'll be able to use these hats to defend themselves from the technology that I'm saying the cops should be able to use.
Yeah, exactly. It
keeps the cranium. Right.
It's like a medieval mesh shirt on your head, wrapped perfectly inside that, but it's super lightweight and it's made of complete copper.
Yeah, and I'm sure you make the rest of the clothing with it too.
You can.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really good. I think that's a great thing for health reasons. And I think the weapons technology that they've already developed, that is the source of 5G technology, is developed for crowd control and is going to be able to be enhanced to apprehend subjects in a very specific way that I don't know what kind of damage it does in a permanent way, but it'll be a very offensive, but from further away. And this will, I don't know. I always used to think you should just throw ecstasy bombs on these people, and just in a gas form, and they're all just like, oh shit.
See, that's what legalizing weed was supposed to do. So
and they made it so strong that you thought it would work, but it still doesn't make you feel like that. Yeah, but some other way to technologically disable people with a taser or some kind of beam or some kind of thing, and not only that, but then they could also have some kind of defensive shield that will protect them when they have to enforce against these people. But then you have this technology and it gets out of control, and then it also gets in the hands of the other side, and then they start using it, and then they're just battling with that. But
for every single good thing there's a bad thing.
Use it on the other side, right? Both sides can use it.
Yeah, everything is like that. Anything useful at all in a good way can be reappropriated to something.
Right. Well, isn't this useful protest has been reappropriated into looting and rioting?
So I heard the police chief say that people are getting paid.
Yeah, I've heard it a number of times now from a whole bunch of
But that
different
doesn't
reporters.
mean, well, I sent a whole remark about that, but I don't, yeah, he might be right. But I don't know. I don't know who it could be. And it would have been another level of a statement if he said being paid by.
He said people from out of state.
No,
he
I
said
know.
from California.
California.
And yeah, I mean, that's a
Because,
long way. You
yeah,
guys
but
got to fly all the way over here or drive.
yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty hefty price. It's not just,
it's not $100.
$100, $500, give it out to 5 gang members to go and, incite stuff. But, there's, if they want to cause a conflict, they can put their own agents in there to cause the conflict. And that's easy enough to do. It's been done many times. That's just an undercover dude who's in the protest with everybody. I mean,
he's riling people.
They already have that. I'm sure they already have that, so they know where the protest is going and what's going on from inside of it.
You got to have agents inside. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You got to see their plan and be
right.
an infiltrator.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know? Yeah. Otherwise, how would everybody know where street to go to and line everybody up if somebody didn't say, all right, they're going to be in Spring Street and West Broadway.
Right.
In 2 hours.
It
takes 2 hours to get people places.
The news reporter said, the police were in communication with the organizers of the protest, and they clear these certain streets for them. They know they're going to go on this route. Of course, then they just kind of go off the route because there's so many people, but they definitely get organized with them. So there's very easy to have agents within it. But
wait, I forgot to ask this question before, because the cops that went and arrested the store owners who were protecting their store, what city was that in?
Van Nuys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, California. California always gets going. They taught everybody how to get going.
Yeah. They're the original gangster.
Remember the Rodney King? That Rodney King thing. But the Rodney King, I think, lasted 3 days.
Right, and we're already on 4 days.
No, we're 6. Last night was 6. Tonight's the 7th night.
Of looting?
Yeah, of getting going. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It seems like just yesterday this shit started. Or depending on how you look at it, it might seem like it feels like it's been going on for a year, actually. But this is day 7.
Well, the protests against the lockdowns were not very covered at all. And these protests are nonstop 24/7 footage. Yeah. And literally, you couldn't find the protests against the lockdowns. And
because the protesters, but the protesters against the lockdowns didn't light half a city on fire, break thousands of windows, and go into fucking Target and take a bunch of bullshit sweatshirts and t-shirts that you're never going to wear, and just throw them in a red cart and run out the front door, stick it in the back of your $100,000 BMW and drive away, man, like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
What is going on? See, if those protesters about the lockdowns got going like that, then they would get some news fucking coverage, man.
Right.
Well, if you're well behaved, nobody's paying attention to you. It's like in school, the troublemaker is the guy that everybody knows.
It's the opposite narrative, though. Those lockdowns were saying we are not going to be locked down anymore,
right?
And we're going to we are ready to come out and not be locked down. And these protesters are saying, lock us down. You got to lock us down. So now it just fulfills the narrative of lock us down, even worse than before, because we were coming out. Everybody's coming out. We don't want to be locked down anymore. We don't be locked down. Oh yeah. Well, now you're going to get locked down even more. 8 o'clock.
Oh, so you think it's just a backup situation?
Oh, yeah. This is just the backup. This is the backup plan.
It was the second part of plan A. It's not even a plan B.
Right. It's the second part of plan A.
Oh, yeah.
My dad says it's the halftime.
The
It's the
halftime.
show.
How is
Because
he doing?
He's doing all right.
He's in Baltimore?
He's in Baltimore. He said they ride it out, the rest of the year. They're always having crazy shit happen in Baltimore. They're tired now. They're not riding.
They'll ride it out to the end of the year.
They're ride it out,
right?
Because they're always riding there. So this is not, they're not even.
It's not even a new day.
Too much energy. They already spent too much energy. And they're too tired to ride right now in Baltimore.
Yeah, they're just gonna ride
but
it
he's
out.
all right.
No, good, because he's he's doing well. I mean, he's looking good.
He's he's staying in. He's the first one to tell me everything is fake. It's all bullshit, but yet he's still being careful, and he doesn't want to take the chance. So
yeah, he doesn't believe.
I inherited my skepticism genetically, if it can be passed through the genes.
Definitely. Oh yeah, you pick up on all those notes when you're 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and you just watch your parents interact.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't exposed to them interacting too much. That's what I mean. It's genetic. It's not nurture.
Oh, it's because nature, not nurture. Right, because they were separated a long time ago.
Right. I mean, I got till age 3, and then I saw him once a week, but wasn't a complete total, and twice a week sometimes until I moved.
Yeah,
but I didn't experience his conspiratorial nature to get it from him. I don't think.
No, but I think it comes across in other ways. It doesn't have to be literal. He doesn't have to be telling you stories when you're a kid. He could still be reading Snow White to you before you go to sleep, and have that energy behind it. So
yeah, well, he definitely lied to me about Santa Claus. So
he told you Santa Claus was real.
Yeah, that was real. Santa was a real thing.
He did, huh? And it was.
Well, they all went along with it, for 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years. I had to figure that shit on my own.
No, but did you figure it out and then go confront your father about it?
I don't think there was ever a confrontation, but there was definitely a lack of, a disappointment. I remember.
A real disappointment.
Well, yeah, it's the loss of wonder. It's a sort of loss of trust. It's sort of you're sort of figuring it out, and the people that have kept this illusion alive are the people who are supposed to be protecting you and giving you the most accurate version of reality. Yeah. And imagination may be a very accurate version of reality, but it wasn't their imagination. It was the social imagination.
Yeah. Well, so everybody fits into the certain sprocket right there. Everybody's doing the same thing at the same time, and everybody knows what to do next month. And then in December comes a certain situation, and you know what to expect. It's getting people into a routine. But how old do you think you were when you first learned about Santa Claus?
Oh, I was 2 or 3.
Where you actually put it together, though? I mean,
no. You mean when I put it together? I was 7, 6 or 7.
Okay. No, not when you figured out it wasn't real, but when you knew it was Santa Claus. So, probably I guess 3 years old, maybe.
Yeah, 3 to 6. 3 to 6. I was running out to see what was out there in the morning, and listening for him, and trying to figure out what I was going to get, and if he was going to bring me the things that I wanted, and making the lists, and
Yeah. No, I think I was my mother. I recall she says it's not real. That was my first experience, and
just let you know.
Yeah, and then she warned me. She says, look, you're going to go to school. You're going to be a bunch of idiots over there. And we talk about this fat man in a red suit, and he flies around with a bunch of deer. Now, let me tell you something. It's fucking horse shit. All right. Don't come back home to this house bringing me all kinds of information about what you learned in school regarding that. Okay. That's how I got it.
Yeah, that's
like
good.
That. Well, it's good. And it was fine because I didn't get to miss the guy.
Right.
You know.
And you didn't get the disappointment of the distrust of your, of your family and the whole world that was telling you something that's completely not true.
I had plenty of things to distrust my mother about, but that one, there's a handful of things, but.
And there's plenty of magic and wonder and imagination to, fantasy world that you create with like you said, with a rock, a ball, and a can. You're making all kinds of worlds and different games and imagination. You don't need the magical world of Santa Claus to keep your imagination alive, the sense of wonder as a child, believing in magical things. There's already magical things to believe in.
Yeah, there's a tree to climb. That was the best thing ever.
The tree itself is a magical, wondrous thing.
And then when you can climb up and you figure out which way the things are going and the branches and, you can't go over there because then it'll break. You learn a lot of things about climbing a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what kids should be doing. But now they're sitting there staring at a blue screen all day long. I don't even know how they're going to make it to a tree.
I just heard about the most popular new game. It's called Animal Crossing. It's a camping game where you're camping and you're seeing animals and you're spending time in nature. That's the new most popular game.
That's, the idea is good.
Yeah.
Spending time in nature.
And
you got to take your shoes off.
Take your shoes off while you play the game.
No, you got to take your shoes off when fuck the game. When you actually go into nature, you go outside and you walk around on the grass and on the dirt, and that's important because of the magnetic resonance.
The magnetic resonance, and from the recent Instagram ad that I almost fell for, I was about to purchase, and the thing was $109. The shoes that are most natural to your foot's functionality, that you have an arch on your foot so that arch can be used, and arch is the strongest sort of structure known to hold things up. And by using it, you strengthen it, and by supporting it, you disable your own arch. So all these shoes that have arch support are actually pushing up on the arch when the arch is the opposite is supposed to happen.
It's supposed to be flat-footed? No.
You're supposed to use your arch in order to strengthen your arch. The weight has to come from above. And if you put weight underneath of an arch in the center of it,
it doesn't have to work.
Right, it doesn't work.
No, that makes oh shit. And
I was wow, that made a whole bunch of sense. And then I looked at the shoes that they're selling. It was $100 for the shoes. And I was like, this is really a great concept, and the shoes look pretty good. And I almost bought it. I'm like, well, I just walking around. I should just run around barefoot.
Yeah, because I think if you're wearing shoes, then I think you have to have arch support if inside shoes, because then you're not using all that to begin with, probably. Like if you're in a shoe that doesn't have arch support, then you're still not using your arch because you got a shoe, and that might actually disable situation. But
that's the intent of this shoe, is to not disable that situation, but to keep your natural foot going.
This particular special shoe you're talking about.
Yeah, special shoe.
What's the brand of that shoe?
I don't remember, but it was one of those Facebook, Instagram ads that I was about to buy.
Dude, you got to be careful with the Instagram ads.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't do it, but the concept made a lot of sense, and I do approve of the barefoot as much as possible situation. That's a great thing. He said there's more bones in the foot than there are in the rest of the body.
Oh yeah,
and these bones all have to get their functionality. They have to get their exercise, and it's kind of like fasting. We spend our entire lives
without having with shoes on.
Yeah.
You very rarely spend enough time without the shoes unless you're on the beach. And then, you know, but you need the different terrain to challenge your feet, to give them the exercise that they need for all the different functionality that they have. And therefore, it stimulates the rest of your body that's compensating for what your feet aren't getting to do. Same thing with fasting. You know, once you stop eating, the rest of your body gets this workout that it doesn't get.
Right. And speaking of the fasting thing, so now they're talking about this diabetes drug called metformin. And what metformin does is it poisons your mitochondria in your cells, but poisons it in a way like giving it a punch. Like it doesn't destroy it or anything. It gets it bothered. And then the cell comes back stronger because it's like hitting a heavy bag. So you take the metformin, the cells get poisoned, and then they have to become resilient and stronger. It's like working out, and it makes the cell replicate more times. So the fasting, because I've been reading about this and I hadn't thought about it before you introduced me to it, by the way. So you tell me you're doing this thing, and then I'm thinking, well, I don't know. What is that? How does that work? It's got to make some sense because, you know, why would you be doing it if there wasn't a lucid, you know, conversation? So I started reading about it, and the whole idea is to shock the cells, because when you're hunting, you know, as a primitive man, you've got a useful life. So let's call it 40. That's your useful life. And then when your useful life is up, you know, the sex drive starts to wane, and then you're not going and working and shocking your system. Part of that has to do with being freezing cold, extremely hot, terribly thirsty, because those are the discomforts that you feel when you're out and you're hunting and you're hungry and you're getting attacked by all kinds of things. And that's what keeps you young. And in those beginnings of civilization, what we would experience is like a thought process that says, okay, I'm nearing the end. You know, maybe you were chasing after something and you couldn't keep up, and then you tell yourself, all right, I'm finished. And other people start telling you that you're finished because you keep coming back without any food to the village. You know, and then all of a sudden the wife starts saying, listen, why don't you just relax over here? I'll go and get the animals, or I'll gather I'll do the hunting and the gathering, whatever it is. You know, of course, that's going to piss the guy off. And then when she does go and do that, then he's emasculated, and then he just crumbles, and then he gets old very fast and dies.
Right.
You know, so if we keep ourselves constantly feeling like running, even if it's like a block and a half, running for 3, 4, 5 miles has no business. Nobody's got any business doing that. That makes no sense. Who are you trying to fool?
Right.
But a block and a half, 2 blocks, get out of breath. That's telling your system that it's got to get something. Now the fasting thing comes in because you want to be doing a lot of these activities while uncomfortably hungry.
To pile on the challenge to the cells.
Yeah.
You have to work way harder.
Yeah. And then
workout.
Exactly. It's a workout. And then you don't do that every single day. And then you got this day of rest, which is reasonable. And then your whole body heals and it comes back stronger. People will do this thing. They'll get weights and they'll just go and lift them up and down. You know, they'll do all these things. And the thing is that there are these workouts that we could be doing that are from literally the inside out. And we actually do get stronger from those things. quick burst of sprint, being hungry, getting the cells to, what's that word I'm looking for? Ketosis?
Autophagy. Ketosis. What? Autophagy.
Autophagy. Okay. And ketosis, both of those things apply. So that's something that I had never thought about that. And then I watched something I started to look into it. So there's a few things that I've seen, and I saw this one guy that was very interesting. I wish I could remember his name, because I'd like to give him props, because half of everything I just said came from that. But you brought this, and it really opened up a whole new process of thinking when it comes to combining internal things that you take, external things that you do in order to strengthen yourself, and then an internal thing that you exercise on, which is totally different than taking something internally, like a vitamin or a supplement, or something like that, a nutritional supplement.
Yeah.
And that's a big part. That's like a third thing.
Yeah, well, you've mentioned this same process a couple of times that happens with plants, and just the whole idea that you have to be challenged in order to get better. So the plant needs to have nasty toxins in the soil to be able to be a defender of nasty toxins when you eat it. So
right. But then
a plant that's grown in beautiful soil that's completely, fortified might not be as good for a New Yorker to eat as a plant that's grown in toxic New York soil, because that New York soil plant knows exactly how to thrive in the toxic environment, converted these toxins into power, into life, and then you eat that and you have the immunity that toxic plant that the workout in New York has. And the
First of all, I'm offended that you're talking about my city like that. Okay.
Hey,
what do you think you're talking about over there? That's my house. New York City.
Watch the accent.
Toxic.
That's a trigger. That's a trigger. You can't talk New York accent. Oh, unless you're from New York. I guess you can if you're from New York.
Yeah, I'm from fucking New York City, man. What are you talking about? What do you
yeah,
think?
no,
I'm from fucking California. But
it applies to more than just our bodies, but all things they need to work out. They need to do the workout. The obstacles need to happen in order for our brains and our bodies to reach another level.
Yeah, but here's the distinction. The distinction is with the plant. It's the difference is I think you want the plant to go from maybe a little toxic soil to some super clean, nice thing, and kind of go back and forth in order to become strong. Because if you're in perpetuitous toxicity, then you cannot survive or thrive like that.
Right.
So you want the juxtaposition, and that's the whole idea. Not to always keep your body under stress, but that's why the cold water dip is such a big deal. You got to go into the freezing cold water once a week. Yeah. I can't do that.
I can't do it either. It's too much of a body shock.
I just don't want to do that. I want to go into the water when it's nice. I won't even go into the fucking ocean if it's like 75 degrees. Yeah. That water's got to be like something body pissed in it, because
it's got to be warm.
Yeah, but then it's a big mistake, and I'm not doing that anymore. Now, so long as it's normal, I'm going in. And if it's cold, it's fine, because it really does only take about 2 minutes, and then you're going to get used to it.
Body shock. I hate the cold shower. It's just that it's one of the worst things that I can think of doing. Unless you're in a spa where you're just sitting in that hot tub, really just sweating it out, and then you jump in the cold pool for a minute and then back into the hot tub again.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the same thing. I mean, that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to get your blood to zip onto the inside to hide from the cold, and then to zip back to the outside, and find the
shock
heat.
The cells.
Right.
It wants to shock the cells.
Shock the cells, right.
Shock them, and then get them riled up so they become like awoken. That's what it is. It's awakening the cells. Because even if they're alive and they're just sitting there, sitting on the couch, watching something, if they're comfortable, they're not going to do it. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's something that I'm incorporating. I'm figuring out ways of incorporating, and gradually go into it. I mean, I don't want to become masochistic or something, because everything in life, everything that we do, we just do more and more and more.
Yeah. Well, it's a dichotomy, because we're trying to create this comfortable, controlled life experience where we control all the parameters and keep all of the harm away from us, and be able to, to not have any bumps in the road. And it's the actual bumps that actually shake us up and make us better.
Yeah.
So
that's what fear junkies are all about. Like,
you create this beautiful apartment, and then you have to, shock yourself in the middle of it and make yourself uncomfortable in your comfort zone. Fear junkies.
Yeah, fear junkies. And then there's the guys who are adrenaline junkies with the wingsuits and all of that activity. And I think they actually would live forever because of how much they shock their cells. If it weren't for the fact that at some point pretty soon they're going to be flying into the side of a rock at 200 miles an hour and completely disintegrate. So that's the only reason these fucking people don't live to 200 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because their cells are just you can't even eat before you go and do something like that, I don't think. And it's got to be terrifying. It's like you get up on the diving board on the 10-foot board, and you look down and you're like, holy shit, it's 10 feet, man. These other people are doing other level shit. And I think that this hang gliding thing is a doable item, though.
Hang gliding.
Yeah, I want to go hang gliding. You should come hang gliding. We should go hang gliding for the first time, both of us.
On the same hang glider?
No. Two separate hang gliders.
I think you got to go on the same one with somebody first. You get strapped in.
Listen, we got to go there and we got to just tell them, listen, now we've done this 1,000,000 times. No, we'll go and say this is the first time. So yeah, you get strapped in with another person in the beginning. But I think you got to do that like maybe 10 or 15 times like that. I know nothing about the subject, but I'm guessing 15 times, because skydiving is 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Skydiving, you get like a certification.
Yeah.
And
I'm waiting for the drones to come out that are going to be really, very, very nice and easy to ride and fly up and down and safe.
Oh, you want to go in a drone? No, a drone that you sit in?
Yeah.
That's not a drone.
There's tons of them. Yeah, they got them. Well, right. It's not a drone, but it's a little one-person helicopter looking.
A little guy, yeah. And then you can fly around like that. Oh, in Miami, I saw one of those guys with the big circle thing on his back, with the giant propeller. And I saw him in the air, and then he went down. And and I was on my bicycle coming from South Beach, and I'm going up, and then I saw him go down, and then I find him over there, and I'm asking him how he's doing, and he says, what he was doing, how he was doing it, and he says, yeah, I got this, and then I bought it. I've been flying around, but I got in a little bit of a turbulent spot, and I was asking him how the thing worked, how much fuel can fit on there, and all these interesting things. And I said, all right, man, well, have a nice day. And he goes, and I had been talking to him for 15 minutes, I think. And then he says, could you call the hospital? Because I'm pretty sure my leg is broken and I might have cracked a few ribs.
Oh my God.
The whole time he was sitting on the ground, and I thought he was just chilling. So I said, "Oh shit!"
Well, it's nice of him to talk to you, and just have the conversation before he told you that he needed help.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes of conversation about all kinds of complicated shit too that I was getting the guy to answer these questions. And then it turned out that was it's one of those moments that you can
we need the adrenaline. We need that activity, that adrenaline rush. I'm not sure exactly which kind. Maybe just running through the streets of New York City at this point will be that much of an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I was riding my bike, my city bike home from Home Depot. Actually, on my way down there was protests, and on my way back, I went right through the center of it, kind of like you had in the middle of Denver. Except I had this big box. I bought a hood for the stove, a stove hood that fans. So it's like a big box, this big. You look like I had just pulled it out of a store that I was looting.
Oh no! You kept the receipt with you.
I was holding the receipt up as I was driving.
Of course you were.
No. This is from Home Depot. It's from Home Depot. It really is. It really is. Oh, you mean you stole it from Home Depot? Across from Home Depot, all of the stores were boarding up. They weren't even open anyway, but Home Depot was open, selling lumber so that they could board up the stores all around the
Of course. That's right. That's that particle board. Every single place out here has it, including the front of my building here. They board up. Every single thing is boarded up.
Oh my God.
I wonder. Yeah, I think it actually helps.
It just means this is where you want to. This is a valuable property that you can just pull these boards down and smash into, while the cops are picking up people that are on the other side of the town that didn't want to stay out, that wanted to stay out past 7 o'clock.
A thief might get a good idea to actually just go and steal all those boards. Just go out there with a battery operated drill and just take all the boards and then take them back to Home Depot for credit. And just say, I got my receipt, man. But look,
you didn't steal anything.
Yeah, and steal a goddamn thing. Look at this. I got a tractor trailer full of these fucking buy 8 pieces of wood. I'm ready to bring them back. I was going to do this project, and then I changed my mind. And get like $90,000.
Right? Is that? I don't think that's breaking the law. I don't think you're even breaking the law if you pull boards off of somebody's window. It's not their, or maybe it is. Once it's attached to their window, it's their property, even though it's in the outside.
It's probably more ironic than it is illegal,
right?
But it's still illegal. You take shit off of a building,
but it's in the street. It's just on the street at that point. It could be an interesting. Well, if it's attached, I suppose that's it. If it's attached to the building. Well, you can certainly make a really interesting art project or build a house with the amount of fucking wood that's going to be lying around after this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you still got 2x4s and not just with that.
No, their 2x4s are there too. We were framing it.
Oh, that's right.
By wedging them in. Yeah. So you can get the whole thing. Hey, how'd you build this house? Oh, I bought it from the Riot.
Yeah, I took all the parts from the Riot. Exactly. It's called the Riot House, motherfucker. Yeah, no, that.
Very, very unusual.
Yeah, feeding.
I actually was going down to the Whole Foods down there that was boarded up. So, they need to. The looters. I don't think they shop at Whole Foods.
No, I don't even know what they think that. They probably don't know what aisle to get the good shit.
Yeah, I mean, we looted organic avocados. What I got? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But they were focused on. They looted. I mean, they boarded up the Lego store because people will want to steal some Lego sets. And
oh yeah. They did rob the Gucci in New York.
They robbed the Gucci.
They robbed the Gucci. I mean, that store has some nice stuff.
Yeah.
That's millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, probably insured, right?
Well, yeah, but it's you never
Just
get what you're.
amazing how many opportunists there are, how many people there are that are willing to do that. Like if it's available, they will take it. Like that's it's like a handout. It's like we're saying, like, so it really does say something for the rule of law, like just being in existence. Like it would be anarchy if you advocate for anarchy or no rulers, and there was no police force there to just at least as a presence, not that they show up in time to do anything about anybody, but there's enough people that cause enough havoc that will go and take things if the stores are open. Like what if they, we all of a sudden we said all stores are, we're not locking any stores. We're not locking our doors anymore.
Yeah.
The same amount of people would just run into the stores and take stuff.
Well, at that point, they might just walk in. Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. They'll walk in, but it's not, there's enough people that would take things that don't belong to them.
Right. Yes.
Basically, that will not follow the two rules that I think are most important in a functional society. Don't hurt anybody. Don't take anybody else's stuff.
Right.
And this many people will take other people's stuff.
Don't hurt anybody. Don't take anyone else's stuff while drinking nice, clean water and breathing clean air.
Right. Well, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it hurts people if you destroy their air and water.
I wonder what would happen if I was walking down the street and all the looting was going on, and somebody ran out of the Gucci store, and sometimes they drop shit, right?
Right.
So let's say a block and a half away from the Gucci store, they're running and they drop these $1,700 Gucci gloves for the wintertime. And then I pick them up. Wonder what I would do. What would you do? You
got to look around, see who. You say, anybody drop these?
No, but the guy just looted it. The guy that looted them, yeah. He dropped while he was running. Right.
It's mine. They're his, right? He stole them. It's legitimately his. You take them. It's his stuff that you're taking.
Yeah, but then I take it from him. Now it's my stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't do that.
I shouldn't.
Because it's right. Even if he stole it, you don't know that unless you can prove it, and you're not going to get into the case of proving it. But morally, in this, with these two, golden rules.
So what do? You just leave it there. You just leave it.
I think you take it and you look for who it belongs to. And then you return it to Gucci.
Yeah, you can walk by and just throw it back in the window.
Well, not right then. I think you might.
Maybe not right then, right?
Right. You
come back like 2-3 weeks later and say, hey, by the way, I know these are for the store.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring this back right away because they would get just taken right away. But I know these belong to you.
True.
And imagine if it wasn't Gucci, but it was your hotel.
Yeah.
And they took your tables.
Oh, dude, you have no idea how many people steal shit from hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's really an awful situation. You got such a nice setup there, and I didn't even think about how easy it would be for people to take stuff from that, and how much more attractive it is for them to take it because it's not a hotel-looking thing.
Yeah.
It's an apartment.
It's beautiful stuff.
It's really cool stuff.
Did I tell you about the time where it was in the very beginning? It was probably like a first 30 guests in the hotel. And a dude rented a U-Haul and took everything out of the room and drove away. That was like in the first 30 days of being in business.
That's how you know you've done a good job in decorating that. He got in that room and he was like, "What? This ain't no hotel room. It's a house. This is my house."
Yeah.
And I got a keyless entry with no check-in people. Boy, get over here with that U-Haul. Come on.
It was
$50 a night, and we got this motherfucker for $3,000 worth of $5,000 worth of gear. We get this refrigerator out of here.
They didn't take the refrigerator. They took the mattress. They took the bed, the couch, all kinds of things. He took all kinds of things. And I thought, this guy spent $700 to stay in this place for 2 nights. And one of those nights, he didn't even sleep because he was busy moving the place.
And another $250 for the U-Haul, $100 for the U-Haul.
Yeah. He spent $1,000 on that caper.
Right. But he's got a nice spot now. It's fully furnished.
I'm going to walk into somebody's fucking house one day and it's going to be all that shit. It's like, wait a minute, man. I don't even know what I would do. What would I do there? I always wonder what the fuck I would do under so many different situations. I can't even imagine. What would you do if they stole a room of yours? Like, they took everything out of your house right there because you got cool stuff. I'm looking at it right now. And you just went to somebody's house and it was like your apartment recreated in somebody else's space. And you just walked in. It's like, oh yeah, man, you gotta go. You gotta come by and visit my friend Tom. Come on, I'm gonna be there at 2:00. Let's go get an Uber together. And then you just go fucking over there and you open up the door and you see all your shit. What would you do?
I think you've gotta report that. I mean, if it's valuable stuff and
it's your stuff.
You can use the authority. Well, I mean, if it's valuable enough that you need to get it back, or if it's stuff that can be replaced.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, you got to get the police involved in
order.
No,
I'm not even talking about that.
Prove the case. Well, that's what I'm saying. In order to get it back, is this a violent person who if I confront is going to be violent with me? I'm gonna avoid violence at all costs. If I have my own security agency, I'll send them before I send the police.
No, but you're there with a friend who brought you to this guy's house. Just try to imagine the scene here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna keep it to myself. Maybe tell my friend.
So how long will you hang out there before you say you got to go?
Well, I'll feel the situation out.
Yeah, let's say you're not threatened. You're not intimidated by the guy. You don't think he's going to hurt you. You don't think it could be.
Well, I'm going to hang out longer because it's my stuff and I'm feeling comfortable with my stuff.
Right? Yeah. So you're hanging out, and at some point, I feel like what I would do is I would be in there probably for about 5 minutes, and I would find a chair that I'm already familiar with, and I would sit in it, and I would just be thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Right. How the hell does this happen? It's like a fucking Twilight Zone episode. And
right. Well, you don't know if he got it from somebody that stole it or he's the actual thief, so you can't.
You don't know anything.
Right.
But at some point, I would basically say, this all came from my house.
I would say, hey, man, where'd you get this couch from?
I would just say, this is my couch, I would say to him. This is all my stuff. So how did this happen? And then I would get the story, and then I would have him help me move it back.
Right. Well, that's if you felt that this guy was not a threat to you in a physical way and wasn't going to be like, holy shit, he found me out. He might know that you're the guy who he got the stuff from, and be already, on guard and ready to defend himself in a violent way because he's committed a serious crime against you. So now anybody that's willing to commit that kind of a crime may be dangerous. So
I'm guessing he's not the guy that took all the stuff.
Right.
I think that he hired an interior decorator.
Right.
I think he hired an interior decorator who just stole all the stuff and then didn't have to even, he got it,
Right. Well, you negotiate, you figure that out. That's why you say, where'd you get this couch from? Oh, I hired a guy. He brought all the stuff in. And then you're like, oh, yeah, what's that guy's name?
So you'd be tactful. You'd be an
The
investigator.
next day you call and say, hey, I'm calling from so we want to get the name of your interior decorator. You know, and you just do a little more tactful. Yeah, a little more tactful.
A little more
until
tactful.
until you know that the person's not going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know. And then maybe you just go and steal it all back from them.
I don't think that thieves are very dangerous, generally.
Right.
I think that people like that are weak.
Yeah. Most likely.
Yeah. So I don't.
Probably wasn't him. It was somebody.
It probably wasn't him.
Yeah.
But in general, I don't think that somebody who's a thief, like a burglar, is really, doesn't have a lot of heart.
Right.
It's not a person.
They're trying to commit crimes that are not against nonviolent crimes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think there's any reason to be afraid of those guys. It's but yeah, I tell you, I think that we're people just want to accumulate. I think that an empty space is one of the most valuable spaces. If you look around the house and you've got some empty space, that is the most valuable space in the house.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first when I first came out from school and I started to work in the real estate business, I'd go in New York City. I was doing like rentals, and most of these places that I would end up in, it's like a dead body in there, or hoarders. I went into a hoarder apartment.
Eek.
That was probably my truest, most frightening environment that I had ever been in.
Uh-huh.
Just inside somebody's house where the bathtub was full of garbage, but it was moist because it was just kept on stomping it down or something. I don't know what the hell was going on, but every inch of this place was just garbage that had never been thrown out and stuff that had never been thrown out.
Horrible.
And this was what I would see in the real estate business. I was sitting across the street. I was showing an apartment, and then I had looked across the street from this apartment that I was showing, where I had another apartment that no, that's not it. That I wanted to, I'm always looking for listings. That's what I was doing. So I was in this place, and then I look across and I see these windows are all black. And I thought, that's really strange. I guess nobody lives there. When I leave here, I'm going to go there, find the superintendent, and try to get the listing because that's probably an empty apartment. Well, so I get there. And I said, oh, so what's going on this floor on the, in this side of the street? And he says, oh, yeah, that's somebody I think is living there. He says, well, why are the windows black? So the guy goes outside with me and we look up and it's all blacked out. And he says, oh, that's not blacked out. It looks like those are flies.
Oh.
So then we went up. He used his master key. He rang, he knocked on the door for a long time. Nobody came out. So then he used his keys on his belt. He opens up the door. And the smell almost knocked me over on my ass.
Yeah.
And even as you approached the door, there was something not right. But as soon as the door opened, there was somebody in there decomposing. Yeah. Yeah. That was one thing after another. Because I wasn't really given the opportunity to sell that high-end stuff. It's the $750 apartments, which were hard to come by.
Yeah, why'd you even do with that? You got to spend more money disinfecting that place, getting hazmat suits in there to get all the craziness out of it.
Well, I was just going to be the real estate agent. Somebody else would have to do all that. But oh man, it took them 4 days, and that place was back for rent.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they probably hired 30-person crews. not just getting out the dead body, but all the other shit that was in there. And that's not even the hoarder story. That's a different story. That's like that movie Seven. I don't know if you saw it, but it's just the seven deadly sins.
I did see a couple episodes of Hoarders on with my mom.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. It teaches you to get rid of shit. So the whole thing is just got to get rid of stuff. I wouldn't want to ever steal anybody's stuff. I'd rather than steal some of my stuff because I don't need any of this stuff.
Right.
It's too much.
Right. We accumulate too much stuff. Yeah. I got rid of a lot of stuff. I cleared a lot of space out. Feels very, very good. I had more space. Take things off of the walls. Take things off. See more empty space, empty walls.
Yeah. It's a nice thing. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's a nice thing. The space is inside. The imagination creates all the things. I don't need to have them all distracting me from my own thoughts.
What is that behind you? Is that a gold record?
Up on the wall there?
Yeah.
That's a symbol, a Sabian symbol.
Okay. And there are shapes on. Is that a wallpaper?
No, it's just little tiny. It's art. It's little sequence.
Oh, that's great. Who did that?
We started covering up all the bad spots on the wall with the box of little sequence.
Oh, okay.
So wherever there's a bad spot on the wall, we started making art
instead of painting it.
We painted it too,
right?
And then we got a box of these eyeballs, and we put the eyeballs in everywhere.
Yeah, see, I thought that was a gold record.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little 45 in there.
Yeah, with a 45 from pop music. Talk about boom, 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 pop music. Talk about pop music. And I hung up the guitar. And then I got.
Do you not have a gold record? Do you have a gold record? You should have a gold record. Don't you have a gold record? The Pokemon thing?
I can have a couple of gold records. You got to pay for them.
Really?
You got to pay for them. They're like very expensive. They come framed, but they're hundreds of dollars for those things. You got the Recording Institute of America, RIAA, I think it is, that issues them.
Yeah, but did they issue one to you?
No, you have to request them. And
I thought it was a sales thing connected to sales.
Yeah. I mean, I could prove that I can get one with my name on it. I can get dozens of them.
But it would be legitimate, right?
Yeah. Every record that I worked on that had a certain amount of sales, I could get one for. I could get one for Meatloaf. I could get one for Scorpions. I could get one for a dozen other things. I can't even remember how many I could get them for. But you got to pay.
And at $300.
I think so. Russ has a couple of them in his studio that he bought.
Wow. I think if you had a whole bunch of platinum and silver records.
Yeah, then when people come into my house, they look and they think I'm cool. That's it.
Yeah,
they don't play.
No, I think it's more like, they don't play. I guess
it is. It's a costume. It's what you have in the studio when you come in a working environment where people want to know, that you're legit. But I made that photo with me, my headshot with 1,000 different brands around me that I did with all the most high profile gigs.
Yeah.
As my visual resume.
But it seems odd that you'd have to pay for those things because they're like trophies.
Right.
Aren't those trophies?
Trophies cost money to make. And they didn't, the company that issues them didn't make any money off of that record. They're just a company that takes that issues them.
Wow.
They're not going to spend, and the thing, it's probably not made of gold.
It's made of whatever kind of other material, and it's framed, and the thing has got to cost $150 to make on its own, just to print it and to get it all the artwork together. And imagine trying to make one of those things for your restaurant.
Yeah.
If you want
it
to
might
make
be big. It might be more than 150. It depends. Like the Stanley Cup, that's got to cost $2,000.
Right. And I think when you get your awards, they give you the Grammy at the Grammys. They're not giving you the real Grammy. They're giving you a fake one. And then you get your real one later on.
In the mail with UPS? Why wouldn't they just give it to you right there? Why would they give you a fake one first? Because you'll leave it. You'll get drunk at the party and fucking leave it behind.
You can't be walking around with the thing, Plus, they're going to have a whole bunch, 10 of 50 of them backstage ready to go with everybody's name already printed up. They just,
I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a prop. It's a prop. And
but it does look, it looks legitimate on TV. It looks like a
but it's not the one for them. It's just a prop one that they get to use for the shot.
Oh, because then everybody uses the same one.
Right. You see everybody in the fucking go back to their seats, and there be 30 people all having to be passing it around during the shots. When they cut to everybody, here's the,
Oh, they give it back after they walk off the stage each time.
Right.
Ah, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting that. There's a whole bunch of things that I was trying to do. I can get a Hollywood star. That's one thing that I can do.
Oh, dude, you should do that.
It's 40 grand.
40 grand?
40 grand, and you got to have I think it's like 5,000 signatures. I'm not sure exactly how much, but it has to be petitioned by your fan club. The money has to be put up, and then the board has to approve it.
What do you think about that? I mean, that seems interesting to have your name in that street forever.
It's a thing. It's a thing. We tried to do it in Dubai. I thought I was going to get one in Dubai.
Without having to pay for it.
Right, without having to pay for it.
No, but the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The
Hollywood one would be good. But yeah, you need the fan base to do that.
And you definitely have that.
I could probably get that done. And then
I'll sign that petition twice, bruh.
I was looking into honorary degrees because I didn't graduate from NYU, so I was thinking I should get some kind of, however that works. They give people honorary degrees because of their accomplishments in the world. We're recognized. And then the school gets to use your name for recruiting.
Right.
And say, oh, so he went here and, he studied voice here and I never graduated. So, but I don't really need to use that degree for anything other than more. It's just bloating.
It's another trophy.
Just another trophy, right?
Yeah.
It's another trophy.
You're better off getting a couple gold records on the wall instead of that.
Or just a fake diploma from NYU.
Yeah, just get a.
But it's more. I want them to promote me,
right?
Because if they give me the honorary degree, then they're using me in their brochure to say Jason Paige went here. I did. In this process, I did write them a letter. I wrote to NYU, and I just tried to say, give them a couple of credits and say that my accomplishments would be attractive to the people that are coming into your college right now. If they found out that I was a student there, it would be very attractive to them. And they just gave me somebody else's email address for admissions, and they said that they vote on it every year, and somebody would have to nominate me when the voting comes up that works there. So I have to get in touch with somebody else who is still there that would nominate me, and they nominate, very influential people. So it's possible. But I did contact my high school, because my high school has an alumni list that's like the superstars left and right.
Yeah.
And they didn't have me on their list, so I got them to put me on their list. But of course, I also donated $100 to the cause.
Did they actually say anything, like to encourage you? Say, oh, we have some charities. that maybe you might be interested in?
Yeah. They send me the newsletter, and I hadn't been getting a newsletter for a while. When I started researching the education system, I stopped participating in my high school alumni situation because I don't want to encourage what I see to be as a very restrictive experience, artistically and academically and just socially. So every time I get into that high school reunion type thing, or the people from high school, I just kind of want to tell them, I want to commiserate with them about how awful it was, as opposed to how great it was. Everybody's, oh, these great experiences, all these great people we met in high school, but they're never talking about how oppressive the high school experience was. And mine was especially oppressive because they moved us from one building to a new building that was completely not ready for my second 2 years. It was a 8-story building with elevators and escalators that didn't work. So they had us walking up and down the stairs. They didn't have any theaters. They didn't have any pianos in the room. The windows were slits at the top of the room. So it was kind of like this very industrial room.
It was like a prison.
It was like a prison. They were painted really poorly. They segregated us even further, even though we were then, mixed with the performing arts high school and music and art high school came together. The dance and drama people got mixed in with the art and vocal people and instrumental people, but they separated everybody. The dance and drama people were down in the basement, and we never even saw them. So it was, and then we got ID cards to get in and out of the building. Martin Luther King High School was right next door, and that high school was notorious for super amount of violence. I don't know if you remember that high school. They had a police station in the high school.
What city?
New York.
Oh, this is right here in New York.
This is LaGuardia. This is music and art.
Oh, yeah, right. No, I know LaGuardia.
Martin Luther King is 67th, and this was on 66th, literally right across the street.
66 and what avenue?
And Amsterdam, 10th Avenue.
Okay.
It's technically part of Lincoln Center. This building was built as part of the Lincoln Center complex.
And that was your high school?
That was the high school, right. We would fear fights with the Martin Luther King High school kids who, like I said, there was a police station in that high school to manage the violence that would erupt in that high school. A literal police unit inside of the high school. Not a security unit, but a New York City police unit.
And the West Side was a whole different thing back then. It wasn't like it is now. I went to PS 183 on 68th Street and 1st Avenue for
was that rough?
5th and 6th grade. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we used to play dodgeball and shit. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very prison-like, with the steel on top of the windows, and then the staircases were all made of iron, and the staircases went all the way up. Like there wasn't like a railing. It was just like the entire side of the thing was always all the way to the ceiling type of thing. Yeah. And it was
like a prison. They literally built them like prisons.
Yeah. And it's interesting and unfortunate, we talk about some of the things that are going on right now and, with race relations. And I sometimes do feel that we are cultivating a certain segment of the population, not necessarily just race or ethnicity and that sort of thing, but we're certain economic level. We're directing them right into a system.
Yeah.
I definitely think that when I think back on that school, it was it was a little difficult. I mean, just watching the different directions that everyone was obviously going to go in.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, well, the kids are separated.
The kids are just, you know, it's all about separating everybody into these classes, into these categories, and then within the classes, then they even separate themselves in little groups.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because of little cliques, you know. But yeah, I think it's
And there's not there's
just getting
not that
warmed
much
up.
diversity in there either.
There's not that much what?
Diversity, because the rich kids go to a more white school and the
Yeah.
black kids go to the black school, and you know, they're not integrated.
Yeah. I don't remember
I mean,
if I
my
felt
school's
like I was.
integrated.
Yeah. Now this was a little more specific. I mean, I guess yeah, I guess I'm in the Caucasian. I mean, even though I'm definitely Caucasian, white dude. But yeah, I think I probably was a minority in that school, you know. And I remember those kids had a lot of real painful things I learned about foster care in that school. Peter. Oh, I wonder if I should say his name. No, I won't say his name. I said his name, but I didn't say his last name. But he's a particular kid that I remember so clearly. And yeah, it was a lot of things going on. He was in a foster home, and then everybody was in a lot of difficulty. You know, made my problem seem normal. But yeah, it was. And then I went to private school a couple of years. From my high school where I graduated from, every year they send me this letter, and I see it and I think something like maybe I'm kind of stupid actually, because I get this letter every year and I keep on thinking it. I'm going to open it and there's going to be something nice in there. It's like a fold out form asking me to send them money.
Yep.
And there's
the
a
UN
cover.
School.
Yeah. There's a cover letter. And I did end up finally finding that place, which I did like. And I on a lot of reasons, because it was, well, for many reasons, but one being it was incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
It was just in almost an obscene way, but obscene in a good way, you know. And but yeah, I get this thing, and I call up, like I call on the phone. You know, some of the kids, you know, we got scholarships and things like that would make it more affordable to go. But I call up, I say, how much does it cost to go here? It's $28,000 a year.
Wow.
Why are they sending me a fucking letter asking me to send them money?
For money.
What is that?
Because you're one of the rich kids that went there that can continue to give them more money.
I was definitely not a rich kid.
I mean, you know,
that's for sure.
Somehow you got $28,000 or whatever it would cost.
No. Back in the day, it was like a $5,000 thing, and then you could get a partial scholarship.
Right.
It was a much, much more digestible situation.
Right. But that's why, because it was privileged kids that went there. So the privileged kids give back to the school. I don't know, you know, they always need more money. They can always buy more stuff that doesn't make their education any better.
I got to tell you,
the more money they give, the worse the education gets.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the Dalton School or McBurney. It wasn't like those Upper East Side prep schools where the rich kids go. This was not actually like that. It wasn't. Right. It didn't feel like anybody necessarily had money. It felt like a lot of the people were connected to people in politics, but not American politics. It's very international, you know. So some politician from some African countries, and were represented in India and all over the world. But it wasn't that world. It was a really thoughtful, different kind of environment. It wasn't rich kids. It really wasn't. Some people that went there were certainly very well off, but that was not the main,
Right.
that was just really not the main thing. I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to get a certain amount of people from every country. And that was the goal. And not necessarily that people from those countries have money. So, you just create that internet United Nations kind of vibe.
Right. Right. They got to follow the United Nations template.
Well, to have a lot of different people from all. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Although we did our high school reunion. Our high school graduation was in the United Nations General Assembly Hall.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
And when I graduated from undergraduate, I didn't go to my graduation.
Good for you.
Well, I didn't not go because in protest of any way. I went because I had something else to do.
Yeah. It's just a ceremony. You don't need that.
Yeah.
I didn't go to my high school prom.
Oh, dude,
we graduated in Avery Fisher Hall. Our graduation was in Avery Fisher.
I didn't go to my high school prom either. And I kind of think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think I was very standoffish about anything that was routine or marked some kind of milestone. I never really liked joining in on those things that I felt were very contrived. But I think I might have, it would have been good. I mean, I could have just done that. It would have been a good idea. I'm not sure what.
So you got your undergrad diploma somewhere? Ever shown it to anybody?
No.
Never.
I don't have, I've got 3 certificate type things in New York. They're official looking things, but I don't know. One of them is definitely from the new school.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the other 2 are for. Oh, I think one of them is my real estate passing my real estate brokers thing.
That's an actual thing that you might have to use at some point. I mean, that's what I'm starting to say. Have you ever had to use any of these things at any point?
No, I usually just talk about going to Syracuse with people because to try to, I don't know if they went there, it kind of creates a commonality, but no, I've never used it in a practical sense. In some few and far between social situations.
Right.
It took a lot for me to finish school. It wasn't, it was a lot going on. So probably sometimes I might bring it up and I oftentimes mention Syracuse.
Yeah.
Because I went through all that trouble. I may as well drop name drop.
Drop a name here and there.
Yeah, just for that.
Just in any official way you've ever had to deal with somebody.
No, never.
Where you've had to show the thing. Yeah, no.
Never.
Even the high school environment, even a high school diploma has never had to be shown. Yeah.
But I don't
These
think
documents are completely meaningless. The information's not meaningless, but the money that you spend to get the document is meaningless. And you could have audited most of those classes.
Yeah. Well, not every week. You can order one class. You can't audit like the whole entire semester.
Yeah, if it's a 40, 50 person class, you certainly can.
Oh yeah, you're right. I could just do that. You know what? You're absolutely right. Today, I tell you, if I was 18 years old today,
You'd be going to Yale, Harvard.
No, I would be on the computer learning exponentially more than in school.
Right, of course.
Because everything's there. I think I have a lot more information today than I had yesterday.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think we really need this college thing so much.
Oh my God. It's a scam. It's a complete scam.
And a lot of my friends,
The information's not, but the amount of money that it costs and the subsidies and the fact that it is this sort of like bottle cap on the compulsory schooling is what's so dangerous about it, because it's the prize at the top that you can't get unless you submit yourself to 12 years of compulsory schooling and follow all those ridiculous testing that is absolutely meaningless to get you into this thing. When if you were to study any one of the subjects that you would study in college, you could learn, you would be an expert by the time you got to college. You wouldn't even need college for that particular thing.
Yeah. I think that kids today have an incredible opportunity that a lot of them squander, but a lot of them don't. By the time you get to college, you know everything. Imagine what a person would do if they're going to go and study like engineering, which I think is a really good thing to study because you can't figure that shit out by yourself.
Right.
If you are, but then you're watching all these YouTube videos and by the time you get to your first class, you're already so familiar with it. Yeah, you're familiar with it. And I think you can absorb so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And if you use your time right. I mean, I think that's really, that's a fascinating thing, that to engineer something, I think is a worthwhile thing to get a formal education. But you got kids borrowing $70,000 a year to be, to study art history. And they're not gonna pay back that debt.
No, they're going to be $250,000 in debt or more.
It'll cost them $700,000 to pay that debt down. And I think it just makes no sense. You got to go into something that's going to get you a paycheck.
Yeah.
And I think the only couple jobs like that I've ever had, I've always been very entrepreneurial. So, but I worked as a headhunter and I worked in the real estate business as a sales guy.
What do you mean a headhunter? What kind of heads?
I would steal executives from one company and put them into another company for a commission.
Means you stole employees from one company to another company?
Yeah, like I call up a guy like the vice president of Pepsi, and I'd say, "Listen, I got another thing for you. I think you're really gonna like it." No, it could be General Electric. It does, you don't. They don't have to go from, or it could be, some other beverage company. Snapple, whatever. It'd be a little nuts to go from Pepsi to Snap, but some kind of upward movement. And then you just talk to these people, and that's just an example. I didn't call that vice president of Pepsi, but that was the whole idea, is to keep moving these guys around, and then they're climbing their own resume. It's like an actor. I did a movie for $5 million, and then all of a sudden now I got 11 million. So now I'm an $11 million guy. So you just shift these guys all around, and they want that because the more experience at a high level a person has, the more information they have to vertically understand the entire supply chain, potentially better than if you just worked at one company. So you're just bringing in this wealth of information that makes you more valuable. So that's what I was doing. And I was learning about what people do for a living. And then so I went for a job, but I had a very funny interview. I basically just walked in there. Tell me if I already told you this story, because I go into this place and I go to the receptionist and I say, I'd like to speak to the, to the boss. That's how, I used to talk when I was 21 years old. And they said, well, do you have an appointment? I said, no, I don't have an appointment. I found out that you guys are doing this thing and I want to talk to them. So somehow, as often would happen, the door would open and I would go meet the guy that I asked to meet. For today, you can't even get in the building. You can't get through a turnstile. You can't get anywhere. But in that, back then, you just say, oh, I want to go and talk to this guy. And then you just go and talk to him. And I, said, what's going on over here? And he explained it. And then I said, all right, I want to work here. And he says, oh, you're going to have to start off with being a temp agent. So going and getting people to be secretaries and shit. Nobody has a secretary anymore. They just say, talk to Alexa or something. You can't even say, I don't think the secretary is even a word you can use anymore. Administrative assistant.
Right.
Because everybody knows a secretary has got one particular job to do and doesn't have to do with anything that goes on in the company.
Right.
Anyway, but I said, yeah, all right, I'm going to do that. And I just freaking get in the elevator and go to every floor and try to talk people into shit, And then eventually I got to start doing the corporate headhunting, which was fascinating. Mm-hmm. It's like moving all these pieces around on the board as a kid. And if you make one deal, like, get like a $50,000, $60,000 commission. If you move a guy from one spot to another.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I never really went. And then I started a thing. And so, I don't, I haven't used that. I haven't used my education in any practical way ever.
Right.
In terms of talking about it, in terms of talking about it,
right.
I might have used
or in terms of the official document, you use your ability to learn that you developed through your educational experience.
Basically, what we've come to realize in this conversation and what we're trying to say is that you could just pick a school and say that's where you went.
Yeah.
I went to Princeton. Who's looking that? I have never.
Right. Have you even looked it up? Anybody that you've ever hired?
I don't.
To prove that
let me think if I.
Because you got a lot of employees. You've had a lot of contact with people.
I might have done it in the very beginning, at some point. I definitely do. I check references.
And how are you even going to check that? Like if somebody says, yeah, I went to Princeton, you're going to call Princeton up and say, hey, did this guy go there? Or is he just going to come in with his little paper in his resume in his folder and it says Princeton, there's his thing. Like how does it even go down if you went somewhere?
No, you got to call. You just call the alumni office and say, hey, I just wanted you to check on this name on this date. And then I think they just tell you. I imagine, or maybe there's some kind of privacy thing now.
Yeah.
But anybody can go to Kinko's and make put in a frame. As a matter of fact, if you just Google college diplomas, university degrees, I think you're going to get pages and pages and pages of things that you can just download and then write your name in there.
Hanging on the wall.
Dude, I think
it's just like the gold records. That's what I'm saying. You can do the same thing with the gold records.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make an art installation of the most fantastic degrees.
Yeah.
That's how there's a dude in a YouTube video who has like 70 degrees and everybody's like, how the fuck did you do this? You're like a genius. Meanwhile, what he did is he just fucking downloaded some shit, put it in a frame. Nobody could get 70 degrees. How are you going to get 70 degrees? They take years. They got to have to be 350 years old.
Yeah, you download them. That's how.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
I don't think I've ever checked on anybody that I've auditioned for any shows that I've had to audition people for. But I do know that a couple of schools come with a high reputation, but not because of the school, because of the people that went there. Like I know people that for the record, there was a couple of people that went to Carnegie Mellon for musical theater. And whenever somebody drops the Carnegie Mellon reference, I'm like, oh shit, they went to Carnegie Mellon. This person's probably, got some skills. And it turns out that a very large percentage of the people that I've worked with that have very high level of skill went to Carnegie Mellon, like in a disproportionate amount.
Yeah.
Mike Messer went to Carnegie Mellon. He's another one.
Yeah.
But Billy Porter and Michael McElroy and Anderson Davis, our director from For the Record, a lot of great people. But what is most important is that they went there, Ty Taylor, they went there with other people. So the school isn't even what's important. What's most important is all the other people that drove them to be better in that environment. Who gives a fuck what the school even taught?
Yeah.
They just put all these amazing people in the room and let them fucking learn from each other. And that's really the special part of it. And that, I don't think you can really get that from any school anywhere. You just got to get that from the people in the room, and how the school determines that those are the greatest people. I mean, I guess the school has its standards, but basically that's it. You're not even learning from the school. You're learning from the people in the school. You're learning from, that you're growing with, that you're creating and performing with. So fuck your teachers and your curriculum. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think half of it is the other kids that you're with. And even how much they add to the curriculum.
Yeah.
That's part of it, because they're involved in all the day-to-day activities.
Yeah. Well, the curriculum could suck, but these people are going to take this shitty musical that nobody really wants to do and turn it into some incredible thing. Yeah. And you're just watching Ty Taylor take some horrible show and make it the best thing you've ever seen. And then you got to come up to Ty Taylor's level, because he's killing it. And, so it's very interesting.
Well, yeah, because, there's nothing, it's all about the players. I mean, somebody can write a script. A lot of the scripts are horrible. They don't come to life. I don't know how I must have read 400 movie scripts of people sending them to me, to get to do things, during that whole phase of 10 years of running around with that. And there was never a script that I read, except one, that I could read from beginning to end and felt like I was entertained. Mm-hmm. I would rarely get past page 20 on a script, because if it wasn't doing anything, it's just, you got to get going, costs a certain amount of money a minute to make a movie.
Yeah.
And then this kid, J.P. Donahue, he says, hey, he was a lawyer. I think he was like 20, 25, 26 years old at the time. And he says, oh, you want to read a good script? I wrote a script. I mean, I think it's a nice script. It's a good story. It's very personal. And he gave it to me, and it was called My Father. And I went home and I thought, maybe this one will be all right, because I had a lot of respect for him. And it was incredible. It was amazing. And I called him on the phone after I turned the last page. And I said, this is actual literature. And I never even heard of that possibility even happening. And then he says, wow, I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I'm running out of money. And I'm thinking about going to Los Angeles, just getting rid of everything, getting rid of the apartment. I mean, he was renting it, but, you know, just not renewing the lease. Take his $1,800 out to California in his car and just live in his car until he can get something going. And he says, what do you think? And normally, I would think that's a bad idea. It just sounds like a bad idea. Drive across the country, live in your car in a city you don't know anything about. This is a terrible idea. But, you know, I said to him, definitely do it. Definitely do it. Because I said, you have 100% chance of succeeding as a writer.
Yeah.
You just starting now and you're already better than everybody else. And I don't know, maybe he'll watch this because he was inspiring and just a tremendously intelligent guy. And he got a gig. I remember talking to him. He said he made $250,000 before his 30th day sleeping in the car by selling. I don't know if he sold a script or he got hired to write a script. Maybe it was, you know, a Paramount or he got hired to write a script. $250,000, you know, maybe a $50,000 advance with a $250,000 before his 30th day in that car. That's amazing.
Wow.
I don't see you moving right now. Are you moving?
I'm sorry. I'm making one move here.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you can freeze yourself like that?
Only because I'm using this other program right now.
What program are you using?
I'm just sending something through Facebook Messenger.
Oh, okay. So you didn't freeze yourself like by pushing a button?
No, I just went to, am I back?
Oh, yeah, you're back now.
Yeah, somebody sent me a message. They needed a file, so I had to send them a link real quick.
Oh, so that's what froze your screen?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I thought it was
I didn't know I was frozen.
Yeah. Okay.
There should be a way to freeze it as well.
Yeah, that would be a really good feature because, then nobody's going to even know that you're not sitting there listening maybe while you get up and get something over there and come back. Or
yeah. Am I frozen now?
You were for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get the lighting so good?
It's my camera. I got the S10.
It's the camera? Because it looks like it looks like you have a key light on you.
Yeah, this is just my house is just, I mean, I got a lot of lights. I got all the lights on right now. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 lights on, but the camera adjusts really well to the lights in my room.
Oh, because you're not
colorful right now.
What kind of camera are you using?
The phone, the S10.
Oh, okay. You're using the phone right now. I'm using the computer.
Yeah. I don't have the computer. I got no computer. I've been existing without a computer, doing all my filming, doing all my multi-tracking. I wasn't going to try to edit the video in. There was too much going on.
Yeah.
So I paid somebody, a friend of mine who actually, the girl who did my Down on the Farm video and did my the main Pokemon 9 million video, she did those for free. So I'm paying her to do this video because she's great and, you know, and she understands it. She asks the right questions. She knows how to tell the story. She understands the tone.
Yeah.
And she's also, you know, kind of in the conspiracy theory camp. So she's not afraid of contributing to my...
That's a camper. It's a campfire.
Yeah, it's a camp. She's a Burning Man chick. It's a camp. You know.
Okay, so she knows what to do. Yeah, because editing is a tedious thing. I think only editors should be editing, and everybody. there's things that people can do, man. You can multitask. You can be a director. You could be a producer. You could be a
Yeah.
writer. But an editor is a thing that's what you do. You don't do
It's
that
a
in
rough
something
thing.
else.
And it's also because it's not just the editing in terms of understanding the storyline and how to tell the story and what clips to use and what not to use. It's the gargantuan program of Adobe Premiere and After Effects and Photoshop that all have to work together in concert to be able to create everything. And you saw what I did with the Bitcoin video. It's green screen with 1,000 different images behind me, not 1,000, but 50 to 60 images at least that fly around behind me. And every time I'm on the screen, I pop up and then I zoom off that way and I pop up and zoom off this way with light flashes going on and color corrections and, you know, zooming in and zooming out. And there's so many things to manipulate on that program. And to get all that information compact into the smallest amount of time is a really rough job. So I'm glad that I can support her right now when she doesn't have that much work.
Okay.
And be able to get this all done without having to have a computer and without having to spend, because if I did it, I would spend, I spent 2 weeks every day on that Bitcoin video, just tweaking and just tiny little things moving around. I mean, there's so many things. Every time I come on the screen, with an effect, and then I zoom out this way, and then I come over here with another effect, and then I zoom out, and then the Pikachu's on my shoulder, but it's got to move around as I move around, and then it's moving around and forward and back, and it's anyway.
You edited that thing yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. If you
shit.
watch that video, it's a lot of
I didn't think you did that by yourself.
It's 100 things per 3 or 4 seconds. 100 moves. It's kind of like the digital audio, except 10 times as much shit that you can do. So, and you have to tell the story and be cognizant of what it is that's being communicated and the tone of it. You're right. It's a whole nother job. I spent 2 hours filming it. I spent 3-4 hours recording it and writing it. And then I spent 50 to 60 hours editing it.
Wow.
And then, of course, I spent another 10 hours uploading it and promoting it to various different places, because that's another level of production. And it's just, we really need an office of people to really do this thing properly.
Yeah, you need a whole organization. You need a real computer or 2 or 3.
Yeah,
it's a serious thing
to be really creative in the editing process. But in terms of just getting information across, this is the most efficient way. Zoom is making it really easy. And probably when you recording this, it zips back and forth between who's talking.
Yeah.
So that the editing actually is taken care of by the program. And then that's a great thing.
Yeah, I think because, whoever, I thought there was going to be like a light. I know I'm going to save this video, and then it's probably just going to be you. Because all I see is you. I don't see myself. Am I even on this thing?
I think the Zoom recording will give you both things. It gives you everything back and forth.
Can you see yourself and me?
I have an option. I'm seeing you, and then I'm in the corner, or I can flip that to the right, and I got me on the left and you on the right, or I can.
Oh, can you split screen it?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Just flip to the right or to the left. There's 3 little dots at the bottom. You click the 3 dots, and they show you different views.
I'm not going to do that right now. I want to just tell you a poem. It's a song, but I'm just going to talk it All right, if you don't mind. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That you wrote? Is this yours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
The last breath that he took beneath the knee of a shielded man, protected by the system built for them, cut the cord of his tomorrows then and there. Now we want to ask to breathe again. Superman stays in bed, drinking whiskey from a coffee cup. Water falls from the ceiling, raining from the neighbor's tub. Pacing to and from the window, watching the guillotine go up. Checks the online auction for his rubber boots and shrugs. I can see the fire burn outside my window pane. The sound of gunshots are living in my brain. The road will save the future if we stay in our lane. The walls of glass make diamonds out of pain. Burning and looting, we strip the road ahead. We give the empty space we had to them. Burning and looting, we strip the road ahead. We give the empty spaces we had to them.
Yeah. Make diamonds of our pain. Dude, that's amazing images in there.
Oh yeah, thanks. It's the walls of glass make diamonds out of pain.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of great stuff in there. Way better than the Rolling Stones.
Oh, way better than the Rolling.
No, it sounds like the Rolling Stones. Sounds like the Rolling Stones kind of lyrics.
Oh, okay. They're good.
I mean, not only because I read that last Rolling Stones song that you did.
Which last one?
The Can't Always Get What You Want.
Oh,
and realized how profound their lyrics were. So
right. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
That's great, dude.
Good song. Thanks. Yeah, I did that while I was waiting to do this with you.
Excellent.
Yeah, all I need is what?
Two chords.
I was thinking about the F and F major to A minor.
There you go. That'll work.
I think it'll work, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a fork and a knife and a plate.
Fork and a knife and a plate. You know. So yeah, I want to work on that. I got to think of a melody. How it goes. Well, it's I really enjoyed this conversation.
Very nice. We could get more specific about stuff and stay within some boundaries, but we don't really have to.
No, we don't have to. No, we don't have to stay in any boundaries. I think it's let's do this again. So, I know that you were busy and then you were doing something, and you took the time out to do this, which is, you're like the sweetest guy in the world.
No, it's good because I mean, I when I have conversations with you, if I'm not sitting and focused and looking, I don't listen as much and respond in a thoughtful a way. I more pick things out, because I can be distracted when I'm just listening. It's a lost art form. It's a lost art to really focus in on a conversation for this long. And I think that this is a good function of the video world, because if we know that we're going to be sharing this with the world, we'll focus in more on and be more thoughtful about how we communicate. And that's a great thing. And also how well I'm lit,
Exactly. All right. Well, I think I'm going to post this. Is that cool?
Yeah, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
post it.
Nice.
Good,
All right.
good.
Hey, good night, man.
All right, good night. We'll do it again and save the world with these conversations. People need to hear these kinds of things.
Exactly. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.